How you doing, guys? It's so good to see you again. We're back here Thursday again for the Dinosaur Experience for Kids, and I can see there's already a few of you watching, so that's really good. Thank you so much for joining us. I just want to say hello. My name is Martin, Ranger Martin, and if you haven't met me before, you haven't seen us, the Dinosaur Experience, we're a company that bring dinosaurs along to schools and libraries. We have lots of fun. And then on our live show here, we actually do a broadcast and we talk about dinosaurs and we talk about all the fun things. But today's broadcast, today's show is all about what is a dinosaur? What is a dinosaur? Now, you might think you know that, but it actually is quite a technical question. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention is don't forget you can always type in the comments there, say hello. Any questions you've got, let us know. And also, if there's an issue, then let us know that as well. I'm trying out a new microphone today. If you hadn't seen that, look, I've got my new microphone on today. Because when I've done the broadcast in the past, the sounds seem to be a bit boomy, a little bit stressed. So I'm trying this microphone today to see if it works any better. Having said that, I don't know if you can hear me. So if you can hear me, if you give me a thumbs up now, that'd be great so that I can actually see it coming in. And that would help me a lot. And also, when we get thumbs up and likes and comments and hearts, it helps us to spread the word to other people. So anybody that, when Facebook and YouTube see that people are watching and they're getting thumbs up, that means it can spread further apart. All right, so I mentioned about shout outs. If you want us to shout out who you are, where you're from, then don't forget you can always type your name in at the end there, and we will be able to see that. And so thank you for the thumbs up, by the way, guys. I've got 2 thumbs up there, and I really appreciate that. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to mention was please don't forget to subscribe. It really, really means the best for us if you can actually subscribe. On our YouTube channel, it will help us out a lot. On Facebook, doesn't cost you anything, but we're really happy if you would subscribe to us because we really appreciate that so much. Wow, the hearts are flying in now. That's so good. We're up to 11 hearts. Really appreciate that. So I'm guessing you're hearing me. 19, 22. Someone's going absolutely crazy, and I'm loving that. Thank you so much. The other thing I wanted to say is, if you didn't know, we also have our pet baby T-Rex around, Rexy. He shows himself. Yes, I mentioned you, Rexy. Yes. He comes out occasionally and shows himself. When you come to the live shows, he can be really mischievous and a bit naughty as well. So if you see him, just let me know that you've seen him popping up and down anywhere, because that's a sign, that kind of thing that he does. He just pops up when you're not expecting it. So that's Rexy, our baby T-Rex, and thank you so much for watching, guys. All right, so let's have a quick look. This is about our today's show, a little rundown of what we're going to be doing. First thing we're going to be doing is guess the dinosaur. Okay, so we're going to guess what the dinosaur is. We're going to show you a picture, and some of you experts out there are going to try and guess what you might think it is. Then we're going to go into the whole thing about what is a dinosaur. What is a dinosaur? How do we classify it? I'm going to show you that, or some of the tricks that we use. Then we're going to talk a little bit about Lachine Brewery, where we were last weekend. Had a lot of fun. I know some of you guys came to see us. If you did, come and type in the messages there and let us know that you were there. And then we're going to show you where you can find out where we're going to be in the future, where our public appearances are going to be. And then the final thing we're going to do some shout outs. So if you are watching, put your name in the comments. I can already see a few here. Eric, thank you so much, Eric, for watching. I can see you're watching, and we're going to say hello to the comments at the end there. All right, so let's move on to our first thing now. This is our Guess the Dinosaur. Guess the Dinosaur. Yes, Rexy. Yes, we can see you. We can see you. Okay, so Guess the Dinosaur. You've got to have a look at this one. I'm going to leave it up for a few seconds because I know there's a bit of a delay in the way this works. So I'm just leaving this up for a second and see if anybody can get it. Now, he may look a little bit differently to what you may think he may look like because he was in the movies. He was in Jurassic Park and the latest one, Jurassic World Dominion. And he looks a little bit different to this, but this is the actual anatomically correct. This is the scientifically correct version that we believe he actually looked like. So if you think you might know what it is, type your answer into the comments, and we'll revisit this at the end, and we'll see how many of you guys could actually work out what you thought it was. All right, talking about working out what we think things are, we're going to move on to our main subject today, our main comment of what is a dinosaur? What is a dinosaur? What makes a dinosaur a dinosaur? So if I bring up this little image here, what I want you guys to do is have a think about all the animals we can see there and tell me how many dinosaurs you can see. And if you want to, you can type it in the comments. Say, I think A is a dinosaur or E is a dinosaur, and just put that in there. We'll leave that up for a couple of seconds, and we're going to try and work out how we can classify what we actually count as a dinosaur. It's a bit tricky, and that's why I wanted to cover this subject. All right, so if you've all had a good guess and you think you know which ones are dinosaurs, I'm going to bring up the next slide, and that will tell us actually which ones are dinosaurs. So let's see if you got it right. So, as you can see, A was our alligator or crocodile. He's not a dinosaur. B, he was our Tyrannosaurus Rex. He is a dinosaur. C, this is the one that may have caught some of you out. He's a pigeon, a bird. Birds are actually classified as dinosaurs. That's strange, isn't it? And then we've got D up here, the Dimetrodon. Very often mistaken for being a dinosaur. He lived in the Jurassic time, around the time of the dinosaurs, but he isn't classified as a dinosaur. And then the last one we've got here is our Pteranodon. Again, lived at the time of the dinosaurs, but he's not classified as a dinosaur either. So that's kind of confusing, isn't it? That's kind of weird. How do we work out what is a dinosaur and what isn't? Some of them lived at the same time. One is, one isn't. Some of them live now. Birds, we class those as dinosaurs. So how do we work that out? Well, let's go back to when dinosaurs were first classified, we should say. So this is Richard Owen here. Now, you may know the name Owen, and we believe that in the Jurassic World, Jurassic World movies, there was a character in it called Owen, and he was probably named in relation to this guy, Richard Owen. Now, Richard Owen was the person who first coined the name dinosaur. In fact, Dinosauria, and he discovered fossils, and he put them in a class of dinosaurs, and it was the first time the word had been known. And dinosaur, when we translate it into English, means terrible lizard. Terrible lizard. And Richard Owen here was the first person who classified any animals as dinosaurs, and he actually invented the word dinosaur, terrible lizard. So we know that some dinosaurs have shared characteristics. So let's look at some of those briefly here. So here's our first one that we're going to look at. I don't want to go into too much detail, but basically it's all about the hip bones. Now, what the scientists decided is there are two versions of the hip bones in all dinosaurs. There's the Saurischian dinosaurs and the Ornithischian dinosaurs. Okay, so Saurischian is, when we translate into English, it actually means lizard. Okay, and Ornithischian means bird. So bird-hipped and lizard-hipped. That's pretty much as far as I'm going to go with that. It gets very technical on the ins and outs and why things are different. But if you just have a look at those two pictures there, you can see there's a difference in those. And to be classed as a dinosaur, you have to have one of those two hips. And they spread into more and more different types of dinosaurs. So that's the pelvic bones or the hip bones of dinosaurs. Also in their skulls, dinosaurs have holes in their skulls. If you look at these images here, you look at the top image, you can see there's some holes at the very top of the skull. Now those holes there were so that the ligaments and the muscles could attach from the jaw all the way through the skull to the top, and there's a little shelf there that they used to attach the muscle bones to, and that's what made it so that the dinosaurs could have a great big wide open mouth and close with a lot of power, was the fact that the muscles and the ligaments could actually clock onto that hole there in the dinosaur's skull. Now from the side here, you can see there's the orbital space. That's where the eye would go. And in front of that is the anti-orbital fenestra. All dinosaurs have that. as do all birds. Now, the antorbal fenestra is a hole that doesn't really have a use. It's there, the hole's there to help lighten the weight of the skull, and also we believe it helped to cool the head down. If it would have been solid bone, it could have easily overheated. And that's another thing that differentiates dinosaurs from other animals. Now that doesn't really help us much because when we're looking at dinosaurs, we can't really get under the skins. If we're looking at a picture, we can't get under the skins to look at their hips and their holes in their head. So there are some basic ground rules of how we identify what dinosaurs are. And this is going to be our first one here. So dinosaurs, basically, are predominantly land animals. So dinosaurs do not live in the sea. They can go into the sea, they can go into rivers, and they might fish in there, but they don't live in there. They're predominantly land animals. Dinosaurs live on the land, and they were the first animals to do so. Another thing about dinosaurs, they have scales, some of them. And here we have an imprint from a T-Rex's skin, or his scales, and you can see how scaly it was. Now, if I bring up this image here, this is actually an alligator, so it gives you an idea of what it may have looked like. So an alligator has scales similar to the way that some dinosaurs did. So you can see how the scales fit together. Now scales are there because they don't. Dinosaurs didn't have sweat glands, so they could overheat. But because of the scales, it allowed the heat to escape between the gaps, if you like. The other thing about dinosaurs, they either had scales or they had feathers. They're the two things. Dinosaurs lived on land. They either had scales or feathers. And you can see here, this is an image of an Archaeopteryx fossil. It's probably the most famous fossil in the world, and mainly because when it was discovered, they realized that it actually had feathers. It was one of the ones that actually proved that dinosaurs, a lot of dinosaurs, had feathers. And if I bring up this image here of what we believe a velociraptor may have looked like, you can see how dinosaurs would have looked with feathers. You can see this guy looks very, very different to the one that we're led to believe velociraptors look like in the movies. They actually had feathers. So that's another thing. And the final thing that we can use to make things easier for us when we're trying to identify what makes a dinosaur is the way they stand. We have an upright stance here, and that's how all dinosaurs stood. So basically their legs hung down from their bodies. Okay, they didn't sprawl out to the side like the one above me. You can see how that sprawls outwards, like splat outwards, and dinosaurs' legs hang down. And that's the third and final way that we can find out what dinosaurs are, is the way that their legs either come down or they're spread out sideways. Now I just want to show you this image. So this is obviously a plesiosaur. So does he pass the first test? No, he lives in the sea. He doesn't live on land. So we already know that he can't be a dinosaur because he lives in the water. His head would come out of the water, but he doesn't live on land. So that's one thing that we do know about dinosaurs. The other thing I wanted to show you about were the legs sprawl. So you can see this guy actually has flippers instead of legs, and they sprawl out to the side so that it makes it easier for him to swim. If they were hanging down, he'd have to do like a doggy paddle type thing, and it wouldn't be very easy to swim. So his legs are sprawled out to the side. Now let's have a look at Dimetrodon here. Now we know that this guy isn't a dinosaur. We said it earlier. And the reason he's not a dinosaur, what makes him not a dinosaur, is the fact that his legs spring out to the side rather than coming straight down from his shoulders. And that's easier seen if I bring up this image. So here we have an image of his skeleton here, Dimetrodon's skeleton. And here you can really see that his legs, instead of going straight down to the ground, actually come out to the side. So why is that? Why did some animals' legs come out to the side and some straight down? Well, let's have a look at this little guy here. This is a lizard, and you can see that this lizard is walking, and you can look at the amount of effort it's taking this guy to walk along in a straight line. He's having to swing his legs, swing his body backwards and forwards. Does that remind you of another animal that when it moves, it swings around backwards and forwards? How about a fish, or a dolphin, or a whale? you can see that sea-based animals, they sort of wag their bodies to help them to move forward. And this obviously is a lizard, but they were the early animals that came out of the sea used to walk around like this because they were used to being in water. And it was only over evolution and time that the hips and the legs changed. Instead of coming out the side and using all this energy to move around, they came straight down. So let's have a little Yes, Rexy, I can see you there. So let's have a little recap on what makes a dinosaur. Some good tricks for us to learn so that we can identify what is and what isn't a dinosaur. First question, does it live on land? If it doesn't live on land predominantly, and predominantly means most of the time, it means it can't be a dinosaur. The second question, does it have either scales or feathers? If it doesn't have scales or feathers, if it's got skin or fur, it's not a dinosaur. And the last question, does its legs hang directly down from its body? If it ticks all three questions, then we know what is a dinosaur. If it does all those, we know it is a dinosaur. Now, having said that, these are categories that scientists have made. And if there's one thing we know about science is, as we learn more, it tends to change. If we discovered a dinosaur in the future that looked very similar to all of that, but perhaps it didn't have fur, it didn't have feathers, or it didn't have scales, perhaps it had fur or skin, then the whole thing would change. And that's not unusual. The way that we categorize things changes all the time. But for the time being, this is the best we can do. So let's have a little look, let's have a little test and work out what we think these animals might be. I want you to think about these animals here, knowing what we've learned. Which ones do we think could be dinosaurs and which ones are not dinosaurs? So let's think about our first question. Does it live on land? Have a look at those pictures there. Do they live on land? If they don't, then we can take them off and we know they're not dinosaurs. So let's have a look. That's right. So we've got two here that actually did live at the same time of dinosaurs, but they're not technically classed as dinosaurs because they lived in the sea. They lived in water and they didn't come out. So that's two eliminated. What's the next question then? Does it have feathers or scales? So out of the remaining ones we've got here, do they have feathers or scales? Have a think about that one. Here we go. So us, as humans, this man here, he's got skin. So he fails the test. He can't be a dinosaur either. So let's think about the next question. Does its legs hang directly down from its body? So we're left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 animals. And we're looking to see, they've already passed the first test. They don't live in the sea. They've got scales or feathers. The next question, do their legs hang directly down from their bodies? Let's have a look. Well, there we have it. Now we know which animals are technically classed as dinosaurs. It may surprise some of you, but we've got there's an Allosaurus there in the top of the line there, and we have a chicken at the bottom left here. Chickens and birds, all birds, are technically classed as dinosaurs. So when somebody asks you tomorrow at school or whenever you go back, do dinosaurs still exist? You can say technically, yes, they do. Birds are still around. All right, hopefully that was of use. Hopefully that was useful to you. Hopefully you learned something there. I know when I started studying it was all quite confusing, I could never work out why is a Dimetrodon not a dinosaur? Was he not classed as a dinosaur? It lived at the right time. It looks like a dinosaur. And then we finally get the answers there. So hopefully those 3 questions will help you when you're trying to identify if there are any dinosaurs around or not. So, talking about dinosaurs, we had some real good fun with our dinosaurs this weekend at Lachine Brewery. And I've got a little video here just to show you some of the fun that we got up to. And this is actually Brutus, our Carnotaurus. Yes, Rexy, we can see you. And as you can see, he got up to some fun here, scaring the children. We had so many people come and see us. Hopefully some of you guys are watching and enjoying the show. And we really, really enjoyed seeing you and meeting you guys. Now, talking about meeting our dinosaurs, if you wanted to find out where we're going to be, certainly over the summer, we've got a lot going on. We're doing lots of public appearances and you can come and see us. And I'm going to show you now where you can find out our details and where we're going to be. So let's have a little look here. So this is the Dinosaur Experience website. If you go to up here, it says thedinosaurexperience.com. That's where you can find where we're going to be. If you want to know where we're going to be, you click on, or you go to more, and it brings up this drop-down list. You're looking for public events. If we click on public events, it brings up this page. We'll scroll down, and here we've got all our 2023 dates. Now, we haven't got 2024 or 25 or 26 up yet, although we are taking bookings at the moment. But these are our current shows for this year. So let's have a little look. Where are we at the moment? We are on the 16th of March. So our next appearance is the 1st of April, next weekend. That's our next public appearance at the Loose Caboose Festival in Mississippi. We're going to be there all day. So if you wanted to come along to Mississippi in Newton, you can come to the Loose Caboose Festival. All our dinosaurs will be there, and we're going to do shows throughout the day. Other than that, the next place we're going up to Shreveport over Easter. We're spending about 4 days visiting all the Shreveport libraries. On the 10th, 11th, 12th, and the 13th of April, we're going to be in Shreveport with our dinosaurs at the libraries there. Having said that, libraries, if you want us to come to your library, then speak to your people at the library, get them to give us a call, and we'll see if we can't come along. And the next one I wanted to mention just briefly, on the 29th of April, we're going to be at Springfest in Denham Springs near Antiques Village, which is just down the road from where we live. So if you want to come and see us, we're going to be at the Springfest at the Denham Springs Antiques Festival. And that is on the 29th of April. So that's where you can find out where we're going to be. We're wrapping up now, so let's get towards the end now. Let's see if anybody can guess what this dinosaur was. I don't see we've got any guesses. Let's just leave it. Rexy, what are you doing? Oh, this dinosaur, guys, he is just so mischievous. I don't know. All right, so there we have it. This guy is actually a Dilophosaurus. A Dilophosaurus. You may know him from the Jurassic Park movie, and in the movie he's the one that spits venom and has a big neck thing come out. We know for a fact that that doesn't actually happen. There's no evidence of that being real. That was Steven Spielberg having a little bit of an exaggeration. All right, guys, I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something there about how we identify dinosaurs. Now, they're not the only ways we identify them. There are many, many different ways, but I didn't want to get too technical. There are things about the vertebrae, about the third vertebrae down and how it's a different shape to other animals. There's stuff about the ankle bones in dinosaurs being different. But I didn't want to get far too technical because it's not really at the level we're at the moment. But I think those questions that we had there, those 3 questions, that will help you to identify any dinosaurs. All right, well, thank you so much for watching, guys. I've got a couple of shout-outs here. We've got Eric, who is watching us. Hey, Eric, and hello, Noah. I hope you enjoyed the show, Noah. I hope you learned something. I know you helped, or you and your dad, I presume your dad here, have lots of fun. And you are from Pennsylvania, Jurassic Raptor. So if you're in the Pennsylvania area and you're interested in a dinosaur, perhaps coming to your school or library or coming to see you guys, you can look up Pennsylvania dinosaur, Jurassic Raptor in Pennsylvania there. I wanted to say thank you so much for everybody that's given us the hearts and the thumbs up. We've got 83 hearts, I can see, and 183 thumbs up. That's broken a record there. I kind of figure that you guys have been hitting the button as fastly as you can. So I really appreciate that. It really does help us. Thank you so much for watching. Not sure about next week, but we will try and do a show for you if we can on Thursday. I haven't got my calendar up at the moment. I'm not sure where we're going to be, but we're going to try and do another live show for you. Oh, and I do want to ask you, please, 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 do subscribe to us. Our Facebook page, sorry, our YouTube page, we need to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're at 430 now, I think, which went up about 6 this week. So we're really happy with that. We're hoping to put some more content on there, some more interesting stuff. I'm working on some interesting stuff at the moment. I'm hoping you're going to enjoy. So please come to our YouTube page. Let me show you where that is. Let me just show you the YouTube page. Here it is. So this is our YouTube page here. As you can see, we've got 430 subscribers. And if you're looking for us, it shows us here that we're live. And this is where you can see all of our live shows, all our educational stuff. We've done all sorts of videos, visits, that sort of thing. So do come and subscribe to us on the YouTube channel. Look for the Dinosaur Experience, and you're looking for this logo here. And then you'll know that's definitely us. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for everybody that's out there. Just looking to see if there's any more shout outs. Just 1 second. Don't see any more. But thank you so much for watching, guys. And until next week, we'll see you again soon. Behave, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.